Right, I'm off. Okay. Start with a quote from Peter Lamborn Wilson, a book called Heart's Witness. They, my eyes, do not see you and have no work but to weep. This is called Mortem Obire. The weight of loss is measured out in lives, those lived, those lost. It happened to me this way: grandpa, grandmother, grandfather, mother, father, my sister, Ronnie Spector, Peter Wilson. All but one were in my life, and she the singer of my first loves felt. When does youth die? When does feeling go gray at the edge? We do not weep for culture, nor for the slowed pace, the songs no longer sung, but for lost chances, lost truths, one piled upon the last till finally the last. I learned about the variety of destinies from him and in his mother's house. A Latinist in high school, he once held a Roman dinner, ab ovo usque ad mala. We were best friends, and his mother saved my life, gave me light. He had no wistfulness like my nostalgia, refused pretense and pose. He once decided to know everything and almost did. He read and read, remembered pages, remembered books, and only specialists knew more on any one idea of worthwhile interest. He traveled far, to Trebizond, to Parthia, Cathay, beyond, and served the Queen. He knew the conversations of the wise and of the public fools. To that death of irony, that idiot meme, he said, I knew it was wrong, glorifying serial killers, laughing at victims and other postmodern crap. He understood the president's job. The president's job is to murder. His semi-disdain for the atheist religion was for fear of the loss of magic. The magic he practiced was well-formed, sought vision, taught beauty. And magic is fun. Afternoons by rivers with gems. Can it nudge the world? No friend of the authorizers, an anarchist champion, he disliked orders. His life was a vote against evil, a voice against the mediocrity. And what then is evil? Once he invested in evil with an imaginary million that he turned into two by playing the imaginary stock market just to prove it. His life had much meaning, though he wondered if his work would last. He saw history by lifting the veil of the trickery played on the student body. His poetry is crystalline, too serious for the MFAs, more honest. His followers will keep his work alive. It mustn't die and must endure. His death was a wrong. For me, he was to be here forever, a pillar of life. The library burns to the ground, indeed. Who will refine my angers now? There will be no more afternoons and evenings filled to laughter with talk. There will be no more phone calls across oceans to banish stupidity. No more mute schoolboy awkward underflow of I love you, man. But I still think of school days confessions of what we were forbidden to believe. I think of shared angers, shared loves, and shared laughter and long summer trips. I do not wish to say goodbye. I wished this friendship never end. Of all of those I've known from early days, of friends and enemies, of all, he was the one stayed true to who he was, the one who bore his dream as far as legs could walk or could bear him to the sacred thought. And then he'd laugh. That was about my old friend, Peter Lamborn Wilson, who died a week ago. I'd like to read a little of his work. This is from something called Phantasmia. How many lacquered screens and blue teapots of 18th century chinoiserie have stolen souls away to crooked lanes, humpbacked bridges, temples in the fog, peonies and willows, icy pagodas. Those are our faces at the lunar window, long silk sleeves, indeterminate sexes, lost in the path to pavilions of cloud and rain. Insidious Shang-Ching reverie propaganda with your Fu Manchu-style fingernails, the steam that rises from a single cup, blue with nostalgia, blue with borrowed pain. a nap in the nursery, a scholar's stone, a ghost, or friendly fox with genitals of jade. And one more. In the morning there was morning. In even lands there's even more, and flying between them the silver dove disturbs the inner ear and nauseates the inner eye, all that space erased like matter transmission, tedious and paranoid. Will your molecules be reassembled at the terminal? And what about your subconsciousness? A gyroscope falters in your dizzied heart. In the window, a map unscrolls its abstractions. Put me down, you shout, as if to some giant. At this speed, even blue borders blur. A voice from the aditum intones there must be a place where spinning heads can root and increase in grace. How am I doing for time, David?
If you want to do another short one, that'd be great.
Okay. And this also is by Peter Lamborn Wilson. He always said that if he could choose where to live, it would be in 1911. A quote from Nonos in Dionysiaca. Let me be one of the Heliades beside the stream of morning Eridanos, and I will drop amber from my eyelids. This is called Scenic Hudson. Sing our visit to 1911, the decayed millionaires in their rotten mansions when the past was deeper, like compost, its ship cemeteries, its fabulous hats and chokeweed. Ghosts become real when they're written down, real but different. Debilitating museumization, a kind of negative hallucination, replacement of civilization by something else, something more dire, darker, and more salvific. Moose, Indians, Thoreau's last words. What's so great about reality was our slogan. We fished for eels, for coral, that prefiguration of the sulfic hydrolith. Take this pill in the form of light itself, the river's epiphanic doppelganger. At supersonic velocities, the past becomes very shallow, as if seen from a bridge, the road of Wales. That was Peter Lamborn Wilson. Thank you.
Wow, he left quite an amazing legacy of poetry. At this speed, even blue borders blur. In the morning, there was morning. So, wordplay can go either way and seem too light or not, but this is heavy. This is like used so well and splitting language apart as I try to do. I love your lines. When does feeling go gray at the edges? Uh, he knew the conversations of the wise and public fools, something like that. And especially as far as legs could walk or carry them to the thought. Uh, Very strong stuff, as always, Bill.
He was the
Medicine.
smartest person I ever knew.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for bringing that to our ears and making it real. All right.